Hey everybody, and welcome to this series about using water in Planet Coaster. In this video I'll be focusing on decorating water, but for the rest of the series I'll be looking at how to build weirs and waterfalls, things where you're trying to get it to look like the water is moving or flowing, because of course at this point we don't have any flowing water in Planet Coaster. For decorating, I usually sprinkle a few rocks around, use the rocky looking terrain textures and paint the terrain with that, and add a few of the small shrubs or bushes to give the appearance of underwater plants. I like to use the rough water. If you look at the rough water now, you can see it's actually got waves on it, and the water level does rise and fall, so you can see it's moving up over the rocks there, and then as the wave passes it'll go down again and the rocks become visible again. This is a very cool effect, I think. It looks really good as your guests are walking through the park, and if they're approaching a waterway from this sort of an angle, it creates a very good appearance for them looking at the water. And obviously if you're watching that, or if you've got a ride that's going past it, you get slightly different. It looks slightly different each time. I'll show you how I add plants to give this kind of underwater plant look. This green leafy bush is quite good for this. So you position it so that when the wave is at its peak, the plant is not visible. It's just not visible. And when the wave is in its trough, the tips of the plant are visible. Now I'll do a few like that, and then I would just sprinkle a few more that are completely submerged, so that from a distance you've got this perception that there maybe is quite a lot of weed down on the ground level under the water. But you just get that nice look of having the little tips appear as the wave goes by, just like that there. Now later on in the series I'm going to talk about how to get it to look like your water is flowing. One of the problems we have in Planet Coaster at the moment is that if water is at two different levels, you've got to have a land gap between them, and the land gap is always slightly higher than the level of the water of the higher water level. So if you have a lake flowing over a waterfall into a stream, it's got to look like the water is going to jump over the intervening land. So I'll be taking a look at how we can create the illusion that the water is flowing over rocks or flowing over a weir, so that it looks pretty good. There's a few shots here just scanning around under the water, so you can see what I'm using. Different types of plants, some of the shrubs or bushes. I'm using a bit of ivy over there on the right, and I've used some sand texture just to lighten things up as we get closer to the shore. Maybe what else have I done? I've used there's a texture that looks like it's got a sort of crushed shell look. I'm not quite sure what that's meant to be, but that creates quite a good look from above as well, or from this kind of an angle that your guests might be looking at. So that's decorating underwater, and I'll be back within a week with how to build a weir in Planet Coaster. See you then.